Hi, welcome back again to the development of an employee record management system. This is a continuation video of the registration page of the admin user, where the last video has stopped because of my OBS. So right now we're going to continue our registration page, where as we can remember, there is a problem on our validation to present the error in the each fields because we want that all of the field, if we submit enroll, all of the validation errors will be put on each field like what we have right now. But the problem is all of the validation errors will be placed in only in the first name. So what we can do is to change our code and to adapt some JSON encode uh, validation response. So to do that, here in our form where we have this bunch of jquery script, so we need to change it. Instead of using post, we are going to use the Ajax one. So right now we have also a problem with the submit because we have to make it much more. We can catch a live element, so we should use on, but still we can use submit. So right now all we need to do is here to remove everything here that what we have done, and then so once we remove it, as we can also check on our form here, we can see that the native HTTP request is also function because we don't have now the codes that prevent this admin reg form to submit. So for now we can change this thing to align what we are going to do. So first is we're going to use the on event, and then we can put there the submit event, and then the second parameter is the function. Then we can add here um, the name of the event. Okay. Then we can stop the submit to the form to submit. Uh, Last time we use return false. Okay, that's the equivalent for this code right now. Event that prevent default. So what we are telling, it's this one is the same also for the return false, where you are going to you are going to prevent the form to submit. So I can see right now, oops, still not work. What happened? So admin on submit function event. Okay, prevent. Okay, we have event prevent default. So what happened? Let us try it again. Okay. Oh, okay. Still still not working. Admin reg form on submit on, and the submit, and we have okay, so we have a problem here. We don't have to put here that one. Okay. That caused the error. Sorry for my voice. Now refresh and then click that one, so we can now see that there is a our code is functioning. Okay, so next thing that we are going to do, we don't need now to declare variables to get the value of our form. I have another way to do that by just using this one, this that serialize function, so that will help us to get all the values and input names on our form. As we can check on it, we can use alert and then refresh. So whatever data that we have here, using that line of code, you can have a bunch of array having the name of that input and then the name of that element and then the value, the name of that element and the value, the name of the element and the value. So we can use that one later. So that's how we can get the data from our form. So to continue, we have to use the Ajax request also. Okay, and then this is how we can create our Ajax script. We have a dollar sign dot and Ajax, and then we have a closing, an opening and closing parenthesis, and we have also the curly bracket. Okay, the first thing that we have to do in this one is to define what the URL means, where we can when this Ajax request will be submitted. So we have already our on our admin page, we have already this um, reg process one, so that is the location where the Ajax will be sending. Okay, so here we can just type directly echo base URL, and then we have to put admin slash reg process one. Okay, then the method that we are going, the next thing that we are going to declare here also is the method, and the method that we're going to use is post. Okay, and the data that we are going to send on our form, in the request, is the one that we have used a while ago. We have this dot serialize. Okay, and next is we have to know, we have to set the return type of the script of the request, and we are going to set that data type to JSON. Okay, and then once all the request is done, so we can put now the success. Then we have a callback function, and that holds that whatever the data from the request, and that this data is holds whatever the request may occur. So what happened to our request? We have the method of our request. We have the data that we submit to our request, and what is the return type of the data that we request, and also whatever it is, it will be put on the success, where whatever that we have, we will call it on our form data. So that's how we can now have an access to check on it. um, we can just output the alert and data. So we are now okay for now in this jQuery script. We go to the admin here, and we can just do something for modification. So in here we have to okay, okay. So here we need to change, instead of using I email IP word, we have to change that one, because as we see here, as we see a while ago, using the um, this serialize, as you can see here, the name of the name of their input of our elements are input f name, input l name, input email, input password retype, and input dob, and input gender. So that are the names. So on on our admin, we have to change it. It is because that is the name that we set during the first request type of request used in our first video tutorial, which we did that complete. So right now we have to change that one. So instead of those, uh, we can just copy here because that all is the same. Just input email, or then we have password, because that is the thing that we see a while ago, and that is for the last name, for the type password, date of birth, and gender. And now we need to replace also this the real field name of this um, rule, so that we can know what is that field. Right now we don't need now this kind of naming. So now we can just put email, password, first name, last name, and then we have confirm confirm password, have the date of birth. Uh, we have a problem here. This date of birth, and we have last one is gender. That's it. So for us to do some changes here, we don't need that one. So in order for us to since we in our registration we have to output, since this request will go to this function, and this request needs a data type JSON, meaning the output of this request is a JSON. So we have to create an array for our errors. So for first is we can create this array name validation errors. So validation errors, this is how we can create an array. So validation errors, and then first key of our array is error, and that error is assign it to true. So, I mean there is an error. Okay. Then we are going to individually output the errors in our rules if there is an error. So the first thing that we have to define is the first name error. So the first name error is to define it individually. We will use this um, um, method in form validation, which is form error, and that error is intended only for this one. Okay, so we have six more to go for all the input fields on our form. So next one is the L name. error, we name it to lname error, and the value for that one is form error, and for that is the last name. So the same thing that we can do for our email error, form error, and we have to put email. Then we have also password. So password error. So password error. So I'll just make it a tab, one tab to make it much more organized in our array to easily read out what is inside of our array. Then form error. Continue. Password input password. So next is C password error and form error, that one. Then do date of birth error, form error, and that is the name for that field. And lastly, we have input, oh no, it is gender error, form error, and this one is for gender. So we already have our arrays of our needed for our JSON response. So that are the values error, and this is the name of our the field names, or the key of our array, of our array that will be also be used later in this one. Okay, so right now we have this. So next thing that we have to do is to output this one by using JSON encode. So we are going to output that one. Okay. So to check if there is an output, we already have a alert notification here. So when you click that one, you can see object. Okay, see object, meaning there is an object now sent from the method that we access to. So we need to remove this one. So meaning we have already error, see errors. We can now see and we can now manipulate our errors. So to manipulate that one, to access some errors that we need to, you can just use the dot operator, like for example, and you can just access individual errors here. Like for example, if you're going to use that fname error, you can just use the data.fname, and you can see here in our page, we have we can now see the individual errors. So we have the first name is required field. Okay, if you want to alert do you can check all of the field names, become last name, and then we have also the name. This is the name of the, we can see it here. So email error, yeah, so that's how we can address, and this is very good because we can have convenient accessing all those um, errors, compare it from the first attempt that we have. So right now we can see that we can control for all the individual validation errors. So which is good. So this is what we are going to do next is use the if statement. If data that what is the if data f name error, okay, yeah, that one is not equal to blank, meaning there is a error if there is an error, because meaning that error is not equal to blank, meaning there is a text that we can see on this data f name error. So if there is that one, we need to do is to use again, excuse me, the this ID, and now we can set to that one, and then add a class, and we should have add class is invalid. So that now we can see here, we can refresh, enroll now, since see we have now that one. Okay. Then next thing that we need to do is to use the popover. So to do that, we have to also change some attributes on our for input f name. First thing that we are going to add for our attribute is the data toggle, and the value for that one is tooltip, and we just copy, uh, okay, because we have to create a three attribute. So the second one is data placement, and we have going to put it on the right side. Then data content. Okay, so the data content, whatever the output of this data f name error. And then next last one is to use popover. Okay, we will now enable the popover, same input name, add attribute, and then this one, that pop over, and then show. Okay, so what is really happening is this one. Enroll now, and as you can see here, okay, we can now see that the first name field is required. Okay, which is good. We can do the same of the other, but we have to change this one. We don't need to use our P. We need to remove that one. There is a in the validation, we can set error delimiters. So to do that, to remove the P, because that is the default delimiters of our validation error. So we can go to the admin, and here we can set this form validation set, sorry for that, form validation set error delimiters. Okay, so we have to put it blank, not P. Okay, that one, it's blank one. Okay, that that will solve this issue with having a P. So now enroll now, so we have that first name is Ricard. So whatever here data here that the before before we have a lot of rules. So the first one is name is required if we have a also the first name must be at least 5 characters in length, or we can just put we have maximum, no? We can change it here. I think 100 is too much high. We have 100, yes. We can set it to 50. It's too high for 100. So in our form, okay. So as you can see that we have too many text that in the field. You have also the error. The first name can exceed 50 characters in length. So as you can see now, our errors are very good compared to what we have on the previous one. So all we need to do is to do the same thing here for all the fields. So just the same format here. Just you can just copy and paste here. Um, you can have now we can make it then we have make it in order, so last name error, so we have last name error, L name. So this one, the input that you're going to select also is for the last name, so all of those are last name. So invalid, everything is the same, and then the error is the last name. So as you can see right now, it's fully versatile. We have an error, okay, individually, it's very good. Individually, you can have that errors, whatever the errors they have, also the same, as long as, or the other one we can have also. So it's very convenient and it's very nice for our validation. Okay, so continue. Now we have email error, and email error, the input email. So the form that we are going to target for that, the element is email. Just copy for that and paste it here for all, uh, and then just click that one. It's very easy. As long as you can build once, just copy paste for the entire one. So I just refresh and check email is required. It's good. Nice, and then whatever the value that having here, okay, it should contain valid in, so very good, it's contained that one. So then another one, and this one extended for the password, for error for the password. So the input field that we need to do to change to do some modification is input password, and just paste it here, and the error that we need to output is for password error. Okay, okay, just copy and paste for another one, and this time this is for C password. By the way, we can just check on what we have password. Okay, what happened? Probably I did not save. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then we can another another which is the CPAS error registration view. Okay, and then just also this one directly, and the input that we have to use is that one. Save, refresh. Yeah, so what if it doesn't uh, confirm? We have a different value for password and core password, so we can see that the confirm password must be at least 8 characters. So that one. So the confirm password field does not match the password field, which is good, and the validation is very good. As we can see that once, it's very dynamic. Without loading the page, you can now have this kind of error, validation errors. And if you don't have that one also, if someone disabled it disabled the if your browser disabled the JavaScript, because we can disable the JavaScript in the browser. Disable JavaScript Chrome extension. So there is a way why we disable that one, and this so this is a common way. So if it is disabled for that one, so what happened in your app system? So if that will happen, okay. So what happened right now? It doesn't disabled for a while to show you. Okay, still working. Uh, I'll just remove that. It's a waste of time. Basically, what I'm really talking about is if in case that um, you don't have a JavaScript or disable the JavaScript. So, for example, this one, if there is a problem, so you don't have a problem also because your system has a two-way validation. It is the manual HTTP request, which is also um, working on it. And if there is a JavaScript, it's very good because if there is a JavaScript, we can have that one. So we don't really fully in some of the system they are really depending on what is for the JavaScript um, or purely HTTP. So we have also a backup. So okay, too much for the talking. We have to complete that one also for the date of birth. So copy again and paste. And you know also the reason why I use if statement here because I individually I want it that all of those are, if there is a problem, they will um, execute, not using if else, that if this one will work and then the other else if will not work anymore. So that is uh, the the idea why all of those are if statement, and I believe I already discussed it on the previous video. Date of birth error. Okay, and input password, or the password that we have is input DOB. Yeah, and the last one. Yeah, and the last one is okay, and the admin for that. Okay, I know, gender. Sorry about that. Gender error. So that is input gender. Okay. So if that is the case, now refresh. So we can now have the individual invalidation errors. So we have achieved what we are aiming to, which is we have to can control the validation errors to individual field. Okay, so the lacking one here is might have like this. If there is an error, so if there is an error, for example, it don't have now error, so you will going to if there is no error, so you will make it turn green, meaning that is okay. So all we need to do on every else if statement here, we have to build else statement, and we have to, instead of having this that has invalid, so we have to remove that one, and we have to add class valid. So what is this? And also we have to close or dispose or pop over. So what is this one? For example, you type here, okay, there is a problem. Now you have a problem also. Now, if that is okay, so it will turn green. Okay? So that means you are having a good one. Okay, if there is an error now, again, you have that one. If there is no error, then that one. Okay, so that's very great. Okay, so we can put that one here. All of the if statement, we put else statement. Then make sure sorry, where we can, okay. Then make sure that that is the last name, the selector. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then just copy it again. paste it again here, and that one for email. Okay. Um, Input password. Do it on all the if statement. Yeah. Finally, the last one. Okay. So checking if okay, there is an error, then putting a good one here. Okay. Putting a good one here. Okay. Putting a bad email. Okay. Password. Hello 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. If that is correct, incorrect. Okay. Correct. Okay. Okay. Gender. We have a problem. It doesn't input gender. It doesn't work here. So what happened? Input gender. Yes. What happened? Ah, okay. So probably it's not. Okay. So everything is good in for our validation. So next thing that we have to do here. So if there is no error, if there is no we can now go to our database and we are going to save it. So next thing that we need to do is in our registration is to create a database. So we can go to the localhost PHP my admin. Make sure that your SAMP is also check if there is a already. So I have here my PHP my admin. I go to databases and on my database name I can create div. Okay, and then we are going to create a user table. So I will create a user table. Okay, so the first thing that I have is to create an ID for all the user, and I'll make it auto increment. Okay, and first name is the email. By the way, in our registration there is a okay. So email address is the one we have to set. Okay, and the username. Okay, we can set it a username on our. So for now we can just email and then varchar varchar 200 email is at 100 and then first name varchar 50 and then last name varchar 50. We can add columns, 5 columns. Next is the password. password. Okay, varchar. I think it's 100 because we are going to use hash here later on, and then we don't need to save anymore the password, confirm password. It's only for the validation. So we have date of birth, DOB, and this one will be date and gender. We have six, and then we have user type. Okay, so we have int, and we have a default value of 0. 0 means regular user, and we have 1 is admin. So right now, if there is a newly created one, we need to make it 1 for an admin, and then date date registered. Okay, and this one is also we can have date and time. Okay. So that's it. We can save our table here. So we have now table user. So in our table user, we have a table structure. We have an ID, email, first name, last name, password, date of birth, gender type, and then date registered. I'll be changing it to the date of type, the type. I'll just make it to 1 to save memory, RAM memory. Yeah, so that's it. So we have now our table. So next thing that we are going to look at is the how we can save our 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 data in our form. So we have now our database. So next thing that we have to do here is to go for our admin, and we can now do some changes or what do some if there's something wrong, so do something here. Okay, in order for us to connect our database to our development, so we have to go to the CodeIgniter documentation for us to really see if there is how we can do it. So go to the CodeIgniter documentation and go to database references. As you can see, you can have container comes with the fully featured and very fast abstractive database. So we can do that one. We can have database configuration. So has this you go to application config database PHP. So application config that PHP. So go that one. So you go to the application config, and we have database that PHP. So we have this bunch of things that we have a default group, an active group. So here we already have the local host, which is we have already. We can find these things. We only have the username, password, and the database name. So that is the things that we need to supply. And to get that one, we can just see it on the. We can go to the main one, and you go to user accounts. We'll have their local host here. The username is root, and there is no password. So go to your configuration. The username is root, and the password is no. And database that we have newly created is the name is dev. So that's how we can just sorry. This is how we can just have a configuration of our connection for our database. We have our localhost root, the password, and the depth. So that's it. So next thing that we have to do is to create a model. So model is the one that controls our database connections, another in-depth logic. So go to model, you go to models, and we can create a phase file, and we can name it to admin uh, admin model.php. So we have that one. So class admin underscore model extends to CI model. So this is how we can create a class of our model. Okay, so now we have our class. Next, class admin model. Next is we are going to create a constructor of this model to load our database. So we are going to load the database here in this model. So we can have public function underscore construct. Okay, and we have parent colon underscore construct. Okay, then we have this load database. So this entire model now load the database that we already configure a while ago. So in this one, we have to create a function, and we can create function public function admin register. Okay, so we have to submit to accept data here, and that data is array. So and then we're going to submit the data first. So I'll just connect this on our we are going to connect this admin model to the controller. So go to our controller. In this one, we can just type here this load model, and the model that we're going to load, we name it to admin underscore model. Then we have this, we can now use directly this admin underscore model, and then we can have admin register. Okay, we can just test it out. We can do some echo command, echo hello. Okay, so for now I'll be demonstrating to you first without the jQuery response so that we will not confuse. So to do that, I have to disconnect my script here on my registration view. I'll just comment it so that we can see the first the how we did it on the um, normal HTTP request. So this is how it normally for normal HTTP request. So that's how we can work in our system. So if there is an error information here, like for example, my name John Alejo John Benhart Alejo 16 at gmail.com, password 1234567 1234567 and then birth date, okay, and then gender, okay. So enroll now. I have a blank document page because in our admin, if there is a reg process here, you do something. So I am wrong. I need to put it here because this one is for the HTTP for the Ajax request. So here we can put that one. So we can test if our admin model is really loaded, and we can test that the once the admin model is loaded in our controller, we can access whatever functions that we have in our admin model. So save and refresh. So we have a problem, admin account error. So line number 24, let us see, load this load model. Okay, let us check. Okay, so we have a problem here. So let us fix it. Okay, so I have here defined variables. So I had just removed that one first because for the testing purposes, I only have those admin model, admin register. Okay, save, refresh. Okay, so I see here we have already outputted hello. That means our admin model here, it's spread file, but we already called it on our admin controller. Okay, so that's it. So next thing that we have to do is to pass data from this admin model to save on our database. Okay, so to do that, to get individual data that we have, we can use this input. So this input post, and to get the values, the name of the field, since we are using the PHP, the PHP. So we have to consider the name. First is the first name. So input f name. So that's it. Okay. And store it. You can store it variable l name. So we can submit l name here. For example, we can just submit l name here. Okay. So whatever for model here, we can just have data. So we can output here, for example, first name, data. So right now, so we can refresh. first name and John Bernard. Okay. Remember what we have input here. Uh, that information. We have this retype again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So enroll now. So we have that data. Okay. So we managed to get data from the form. We get data from the form, and we pass this data. We store it in variable. We pass it data to our admin register view, admin register, and then in the admin register function, we just output echo first data. So we managed to do that. So all we need to do here, to set all those data, we can do the same. Just copy paste. As you can see, these are also the same name that we used a while ago. So we just copy and grab it. So we have f name, and that is for um, this is f name, and the last name for that for here. I'll need five more. Three, one, two, three, four, five. We have email, password, and date of birth, DOB, and gender. We don't need to store the retype password anymore. So we have email, password, date of birth, and gender. So that's what we have to get the data on the in the um, on the form. So in order to submit all this data, we should submit it here. Okay. So we can add more parameters here for our model to accept data, or we can just, since we have already have the design to put data, we will just make this data into an array to make it to just submit all the data in an array form. So to do that, we can just type here reg data is equal to array. Okay, then we have to supply arguments, no, a key. So like for example, in first name, we should look into what is the field name we want to save it on our in a database. So like for example, for first name, we go to our user, go to structure. So the key name for that is also the column names here. So for the first name, we should copy here and paste it right over here. Okay, and then you will be the assigned the value for that will be this one. So it will be the automatically whatever the where you can will save the value to the database on the column. You should define it early on the array. So next we have also email. We have last name. We have last name and this one, last name. So the separator, every elements of our key, our array is separated with the comma. So comma delimited. Okay, and then we have email. We have also password. We have also date of birth, gender, type. Since this is an admin registration, we want to set the value to 1 and date registered. Okay. Just use the date command in PHP. First is what is the date and time format here? Let us check. Insert data. Okay, we have the date format is here, here, that one, and 6, so that is month. We can just go to PHP date format to really know what we needed on our. So format string, I need the, where is, okay, we can have this. If you have year, 4-digit, a 4-digit year, and then month, 3 letters M, so that's M. And then because of what we are following this format, and we have the day, textual of the 3 letters of the day, this one. Okay, then last we have R. So R minutes and seconds. R H H minute, it's minutes of 4-digit. Next, it's only YMD. Let us first do this one in to check that date YMD, or I think that's A. It's PM. I need minutes. I photo I yeah, INS. Let us check. It's 22. Yeah, we need big letter Y. 2022-068. Okay, that's the format that we need. Here, admin page. Yeah, so that's it. So let us check first. Um, go to the structure. We don't need the value for ID. Let's auto increment. Email. We have our email. First name. We have our first name. Last name. We will have this last name also. Then password. Password. Date of birth also. Gender. The type also. And date register. So all of the data from the database, from the table key and the value that we're going to save is already here. So all we need to do is to um, pass this data to this one. You pass this data. So that's it. Then you go to the admin model here. So we have already the data that we submit. We can go to the documentation to check on the database. And we go to query building class. Query building. Where's the query builder class here? There's no query builder class. Or we go to calling. Welcome to calling Nighter. Helpers, libraries. Where is the database? Correct query. Query builder class. We can go to inserting data. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to use command insert db this db insert. So it's equivalent to insert into my table, blah 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 blah. So use the array, what we did our array, the title and the value. That's what we did right a while ago. Then use this db insert the table and then the data. So that's it. So here this db insert. So what is the table that we're going to insert? I'm going to let the user or the data to be saved, and the table is table user. So that is the table user, and the data that we need is that data that we submit a while ago. We pass that data on this one. Now let's that one and then look if we manage to save that one. So we need to return true to make this query, if this query is successful, so that here we can make some modification if, meaning if this is true, meaning it will query just echo data is uh, successful registration. Successful registration. Okay. So now we can do is just, as you can see, we don't have data right now. So here, when we have data, like for example, again, my name, John Benhart Alejo, John Benhart Alejo 16 at gmail.com, password 1234567 1234567 this data. So enroll. So as you can see now, successful registration. Go to the database. We have here. We have all the data that we need to input. We have the email, the first name, the last name, the password, the date of birth, okay, the gender, and also the type and the date for today. Okay, so that's it. We successfully added our registration. But in order for us to be realistic, we don't want our password that the database administrator can see. No? It's like, for example, that is not really the case. We don't want to let the administrator that takes to our password. So make sure we make a hash. So um, hash is a function that can use to map data, ano, fixed size values. The values returned to hash functions are called hash values. So meaning we need to make a hash values for our code. Okay. Yes. So we don't want that this data will be presented here. So to do that, before prior to that, for the password here, or it's here, we're going to make some modification. So we have a lot of hash in PHP. So if you can see, search it, hash in PHP, we have a lot of PHP hash. So meaning it's an algorithm for the server that you were going to create your value will be um, call it generated into a hash value. So we have two hash value that we're going to use. The first is you can use MD5. MD5. So that means I will just refresh, and what happened is it will just also insert it again. But right now when we refresh it, still the same. In the database we inserted another value. We have another value but the same. Okay, what happened for this? I have to okay. MD5 of okay, we'll just to do it again. another value, like for example another the same 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 to check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and register same. Okay, still the same. Well, the our hash is not working. Sorry for that. I am hashing the date of birth. That is why there is now 000. So my bad. We're going to hash the password MD5. That's a big mistake. Okay, refresh. Just reload here. Reload. So refresh. As you can see now, our password still the same 1 2 3 4 5, but we have now a hash value, and our encryption type is MD5. So so we know that our password is 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, but the user doesn't, or the administrator or the one who can see our password doesn't know what is really this one. So this is the power of hashing, where we can um, have an hash value for uh, our 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 value. So sometimes we have it an encryption key or encryption. We encrypt what is our value. So that's our value is hidden from the other person. So they can just see this bunch of data, and this bunch of data is equivalent to this one. Okay, but the problem is here, if you're going to use one encryption um, method, it might just very easy for you for them to decrypt, or diba? So decrypt or unhash. So like for example, this one is MD5. We only use single encryption. So you can just go to the internet. You can just copy and go to the internet, like decryptor. So random free random decryptors. So just they use that one. So even though they don't have, for example, they don't have the idea what is the value for this one. So they just copy the entire hash or encryption and just put it here and search. Is this the one? I think that is not the one. That is pre-ransom ransomware muna. So that's not a hash hash decryptor. You can see decrypt MD5 SHA-1 MySQL blah blah. So daghan siya dire. So you can just type here that code, search and submit. So you can see that show, forgot to check that one. So it is found MD5 ang encryption. So makita nila na MD5 encryption. So meaning if makita lang MD5 encryption, sorry, I think naisip XXF. Sorry, I need to use the reCAPTCHA X XFPX GX search. Yeah, so they just this one is only recognizes the encryption type. there's a website there where they can decrypt. Okay, as you can see, algorithm MD5 hash and the decrypted 1234. So that is really what is our password. So even though we can have a lot of value, like we can change the we can change your password like um, I love you, okay, so much. Okay, I love you so much. For example, so enroll. Okay, it's there is a problem. So I we call it I love. I just that is my password. Just my name. That one. Enroll. Now go to that one. The same. You have not the same MD5 encryption because it's another value. So go to the data to the internet and you can search it. Okay, Sam is that I copied it correctly. Yeah. So that's one. You can have also the same another website that we can check. Hash. Okay. Okay, it's an encryption. Because I forgot the password. I forgot the website. It's not working. Okay, by the way, so that's how what to check that one. So it might not it might not save that we are going to use only MD5. So we're going to use double hash or double encryption. So encrypt it with MD5, and then whatever the value for that MD5, we are also using SHA-1 for the decryption. So that's what we are going to do. So now, as we can see the value for that in our password, same value registration, then refresh. So from my name, John Benhart, to MD5, then that MD5 value is also that hash. So this we can just have a 90 percent confidence that this one will be not decrypt. So di na siya ma-decrypt um, for that. So that's what we are going to do for my password. We use MD5 first, we encrypt MD5, and then we use SHA-1. Okay. Then we have also to perform some important things like we can check if there is an HTML tags or code on our field. So we will check on that. So we can use also the native um, PHP um, function that checks on that special characters to prevent MySQL injection attack to our form, because this is also our form will is also the window of our database. So we are going to control or to make sure that all of the data that the user input is only pure text. Okay, because in development, the other no other window in the system that can get too closer to the database is only the forms that we have. Okay, because that is also there is a transaction inside of the forms. So we have HTML special characters in PHP. So this one is convert some predefined characters to HTML entities. So we are going to use that one, and then we have so for example that one. So it should have, so whatever that, if there is a HTML documents or tags, so it will not be executed. So instead of having those, so instead that it will execute when you say special characters, it will allow for that. Okay, and we are going to use also trim. So we have going to trim spaces. We don't want that our user will input like this and that one. So we don't want to save spaces in our database. So we're going to use trim function also. So we have going to use trim, and we're going to sanitize string and remove some XML documents. Okay, So that's our three things that we have to do. We have to use HTML special scar, then we have trim, and then this one, sanitize. Okay, we have filter bar, and then that one. So to do that, we have to update some of our function here because we want to care the for the user. So public function sanitize input, and the value that we're going to submit is the input. Then it will be returned uh, sanitize. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing that we have to do is to make to remove the HTML characters uh, by just using this one, sanitize. Sanitize is equal to HTML special cars, okay, and whatever the input. Yeah, that's it. Next thing that we have to do is to use this one, filter bar. So just copy and sanitize and the new value for sanitize. Okay, so what the first value, this is how we can we perform the HTML special characters. The second is to omit that characters. Okay, and then the last one is trim. So sanitize is equal to trim and sanitize. So that's it. So then we will going to use this input, sanitize input to every input that we have. You are going to do. So here we will use this sanitize input and that one. This one will really help us to, to prevent some malicious attacks in our form before we our password before we hash it. Make sure that it is sanitized. Also the gender, and this one or data that we created is no need because that's not in the form. So that's it. And so that when we going to register some of those things, for example, H1, John Van Hart, H1, last name, for example, Alejo uh, Junior, for example, then John Van Hart, Alejo 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For example, that is the data that we are going to prevent. Without the sanitation, we can save that kind of data. Also the space. So enroll now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mail, enroll now. So we have a problem, filter sanitize depreciated. Let us fix this one. Okay, so we can just omit the line here for since it is depreciated. So HTML cars will do that one also. It's also the same. So as you can see on the this is also special scar. Okay, so that's it. So refresh and where we can find it, refresh. So now you can go to the database and look for what you have. So it's there. It's not. It doesn't work the way we want it. Let's check. Still having a space and also those things. So first we were going to use this space. Trim. Just put. So in our trim, let us check if it will remove something. Still the same. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saves. Still the same. There is no trim. Let's try trying to put first this one to this at the top. Refresh. Okay, sanitize. So that is input and this one is sanitize. Refresh. Still the same, it's not working with our trim. We are going to use this one, sanitize, and that one. Hopefully it will works. Also to remove the long white spaces. Refresh. Okay. So now down from the long white spaces to now that one. Okay. Then we are going to remove some characters. So let us strip slashes. So you're going to use that one, strip slash. Okay. So, and lastly, we are going to remove this one. And instead of using HTML character, I'll be using strip tags. So strip tags meaning I'll remove the tags. So right here we have this tag h1. So I'll be removing it, not going to get the value for that tags. So enroll now. Okay, so that's it. So I managed um, to get read all the tags and also the spaces. Okay, so our sanitation is good and is very important. It is because what else whatever the data you input to the database is very um, call it risky if you are not sanitizing all of the inputs that in your system. Okay, so to do that, then since we already have that one, so for this, um, that's good. So you may now have like successful registration, and then you going to create a new page if you are not using um, some jQuery. So for now, I'll be just for this demonstration, I will just stop making some natural HTTP requests. From now on, I'll be using more about those using Ajax. So because I have to maximize my time, so I'll be using those it's behind HTTP request. So the Ajax thing. So for this moment, for this one, I'll just leave it here, but we'll continue always on the script. So right now we'll go to the Ajax part. So go to here and enable the JavaScript functionality. Okay. So once it is there is an error, so everything is good. So type here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mail. So enroll. So what happened? It doesn't change a thing. Save. Reg process 1. Okay. Okay. Let's try it again. So, okay. So meaning that's if there is no error and for the validation, meaning here. So if there is no validation in this part, we have to move something. So let us do here for our registration. So we forgot that if there is no error, so you can see we have error. Just add here if data error is equal to false. So let us copy and paste everything. Start with that. We have to dispose remaining popovers also. That date of birth, password, password, email, last name, and first name. So that will be the case. So check on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's not working. If data error, yeah, this error. Let us do some Type it again. Yeah, meaning it goes to the validation here. So I'll be going to change it here and add. Okay, can we have a registration? Okay, so validation message or validation, say array, and let us put error is equal to false, and just echo JSON encode validation. Okay, so now as you can see it's now false, so it's now look like this. Okay, so now we have to do and execute what we are going to do. So just the same thing that we have here. So just grab a copy, and for this one, so just the same copy and have a data there. Just the same thing, you insert the data. If successfully registered, okay, we have to just put it at the top so that, and we'll just add and modify that one later on. Let's try to run if it is working properly. Let us just echo something first here to let us know if it's working. And here I'll just also output alert data. Okay, let us try if it is working. I'll use another name, for example, Jose Rizal, Jose. That one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Enroll now. Doesn't working, but you go to the database. Okay. And so in the database, it is working properly. Okay. So that is a good sign for us. That's everything in our admin here is working properly. Okay. So next thing that we have to do here is we can just change this one to this error, or we can just um, message. For now that is blank. Here we can just say validation message registration complete. Okay, so let us check on it. By here we can just type here data message. So let us try if it is working. Again, Andres Bonifacio. Andres Bonifacio at gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Enroll. It is false. Now registration complete. Okay. So as we can see here, it works. Okay, it working properly. Okay. So now we have to do here is to add something in our just if data is equal to alert message. If data message is not equal to blank, meaning that there is a registration. So all we need to do is we are going to use is where on sweet alert messages. So we'll just use this. You can go to this URL sweetalert.to.github.io. Then install how you are going to install it. Just copy the CDN and paste it here on your page. Once it now put on the page, then next thing that we're going to do where we can use it in this part, let us use some example here. Say sweet for title, success. For the text, data that message. And icon, I think that's not an error. Let us see what are the icons available. Success and confirm button text. Okay, just say okay. So what we're writing right now is the same. Just have like example other John. We have Mofi, Leho, Mofi, uh, alejo@gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It's very easy. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Just enroll now. So successful registration is what we did, right? So we have a SweetAlert success registration. Registration is complete. Just click OK. It turns back. Okay. So that's really our registration. Yeah, that's it. So we have some modification. Registration success message. Then admin here. We can just say registration is complete. Now we have if we have problems also a while ago we have a problems we just do the same for us like here if data error is equal to true, let's use this one. um, uh, form should fill out correctly. Data message or the text it should be um, uh, kindly can in each fields. Icon for this one is I think it's warning. Confirm what I get it. So now what happened? Refresh if there is error. So form should fill out correctly. Can okay, I get it? Okay, so that's it. So we perform registration validation. So we save it directly to the database. Okay, so we have one more thing to do for the registration. That is the callback function where you don't want to register the same email address because this is only the email address is the one that want to check if that is email address is used or not. So that is the next thing that we're going to do. So first is I'll be removing all of these, or just the same. Just go to perform the validation. So to do that, we have this on our Codeigniter 3 documentation. How to go to the libraries and go to form validation, and we have your own callback function. So meaning you have to use callback to check, for example, check username. So you're going to check if the username is already been used or the email address is being used. So the same thing that we are going to do, I'll just create a function that checks that, and then just just follow this documentation. So in our case here, we go to the admin side. We will create a function, okay, username check, or we can use public function email check, and okay, the input email. So now if email, so since we have that, we have to check it on our database. So here we go for our admin model and create a public function. uh, we call it email check, and we have input to select. We can go to the query builder class. We can go back, go to the Codeigniter again documentation, and we go to the for the database preferences. References of our database, and then we go to query builder class, and we're going to select data. So to select data, this is where this tb, okay, this get table, and then specific data we can just okay, db get where id. Okay, so this is what we are going to work with. Just copy and paste here for the query. So the query is this db get where the table is user, and the array for that one is email, and the data that you are going to input. Okay, then we are going to return the query, which is the query result. Okay, so the result of the query, we are going to do that. So because we can see that there is a result here, inserting, looking, we have a result. So this is how the result was. Okay, so we are going to check if the number of rows. So we have number of rows, or num rows function. So num rows. Just search it, code igniter num rows. If that is correct, 3.1, it is a num rows. Okay, so there is a num rows, so that's good sign. So we have to return the result. So here, as in this one, we are going to load the model here. So this load model admin underscore model, then this admin model, then the name of the function or method, email check, and then the input email. Okay, so to do that, since this is now the result, so that is the result. So now we can just check if result is equal to 1, meaning if there is an equal to 1, meaning already exist. Okay, so if it already exists, you can see on the documentation, if exists, then return false. Okay, so you just copy that one. This form validation set my username check. We can name email check. The field can be not be word or test. So that's what the email is already taken. Okay, and else return true. Okay, then that's it. Then you go to the username for the email. Let's put another one, and we will add callback underscore. So you should have callback, and the name of that one is check email check So email check. So callback email check. So that's good. So we can now check it. Those are where how many available emails here. So we should also change our a query of our where we can have on our model. We have that saved already. For our admin, we have to check. It's greater than zero to be greater than zero. So email address like this email is already been taken. That this one we can check on it like that one. So that so as you can see here, for the email is already taken. So they have here um, a callback validation. Okay, so that's how we can check if it says something in the database. Okay, so let us do the same thing. Like for example, John Van Hart Alio 16, and that one, and 1111111. Okay, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Enroll. A form should be correct. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay. Um, it's already been taken. So that's good. So the registration is now complete. So all we need to do is when the user click, for example, I'll just put 17. So when click that one, still the same. 19. Okay, I think there is something wrong with our query. What happened? Okay, we have to put here numbers. So that's the one. That's the correct one. Numbers. Rows. Resulting rows. It's numbers. We have a function of numbers. That's that one. Let's check. Refresh. If result numbers, it's not working the way we want it. So we have an error. So to check the error of our JavaScript, we go to console. Line reg process. What is the problem for this one? Let's dissect on it. Okay. Line number 2 function array numbers. Okay. Okay, just it's not on the database side, so it's not loaded on our database. So to be safe, I'd rather go to the model and just put it here for the numbers. 121. Still the same. Numbers not recognized. Okay, sorry for that. So I don't need to have result first, just numbers. Okay, how about this one? Okay, how about that one? Okay, so it's working now. As you can see, if I will use 16, which is already taken. Now, if I will use another number like 15, because there is no generated alert at 15 in the database, so it's now working. Okay, so that is for what we are going to do in our form validation. So the last part is we are going to redirect this one for the page to go to the registries to log in. So just we'll create another one, Elvin Alejo, for example. Okay, Elvin at gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Enroll now. Okay. So registration complete is okay. I'll just put it login. Okay. So registration complete. That is the error. The registration complete. Okay. We can have you may now log in. So on our registration view, instead of OK, log in. Okay. Then it will redirect to the login. So we go to the swirl. We can go to um, SweetAlert, handling buttons. We go to handling buttons. So the confirm was click. Okay. Okay. So sample of handling. SweetAlert. Uh, After click confirm. For a while, we can now have a full control of our swirl alert, or we call it the sweet alert. So we can have a full control of that. So once you click the login button, it will do some notification that it will be redirected to the login. So right now we can have dot, then then double parenthesis. We have result and this one stating that one, and see an if statement again. if result, so you have since this result is an object, so result that is confirmed. So if it is confirmed, now we are going to have another swirl, a swirl fire. So swirl that fire, just copy for this to make it much more faster. Title will be, just say, redirecting, and I'll just, the text will be, you are now going to the admin login page. So this is info, and just click OK. Then after that, if it is OK, and another then result. So now we are going to redirect it to the admin login page. So that, then if result is confirmed, if result is confirmed, we have window location replace, and we're going to replace it by base URL admin login. So that is the thing that we need to control our SweetAlert. So save, refresh, log in. Just go to the registration. Just for example, okay, Moira de la Torre. Okay, Moira Moira at gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then that one, mail, enroll now. Something wrong with our codes. So let us check. To check it, go to inspect elements, inspect. There is a problem here. Line number 2191219. Something is wrong. That one, this one is for that, this one, and this one. This one, and this one, this one, this one, and this one. For a while. Okay, so now let's check or all the this is for the if statement, and this one is for this, and this one is for this. So that, and here is, so everything is working fine, but there is a problem with this one. Okay, it is a closing here. Yeah, that's what is lacking. Okay, then refresh. It's still having a problem. Where is the end of it? Okay, that solved the problem. Hopefully, it's still there. This one, let us see. Uh, yeah, that is the problem. And I am going to close it here, and also here I'll be closing it here. So that's the problem. Hopefully I fix it. Yeah, so let us try. Moira Jason, Moira Jason at gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay,